The Humber Local Enterprise Partnership, or more commonly known as the LEP, works in very close partnership with business leaders, education leaders, and that includes independent training providers, of course, and our 4 local authorities to drive the economy of the Humber region, working at a strategic level and really maximising our current assets. So my job is actually focusing on employment and skills. So it's acting as a lead across the 4 local authorities to bring together the various strategies that are really trying to drive up our skills levels in the region. The Humber has got a particular skills gap if you look at our attainment levels compared to even our neighbouring LEP areas. So it's a huge focus for us. So I work with providers, with government agencies on several interventions that are actually developing that skills profile of the region.
But what are the particular skills that we've got to upskill the region on?
Sure. Well, there's some fantastic opportunities in the region. Obviously, we've seen a huge amount of economic development, such as the energy sector. And what we've got to do is really look at compete for jobs for our local residents. What we've got in terms of skills gaps is we've got fewer people that are qualified at level 4 and above, so that's like above A level. And we've got more people in the Humber region that hold very low qualifications. And that's a big challenge for us in terms of productivity and also in terms of ensuring that our residents have the opportunity to apply for jobs in our region. I think it's a very complex picture as to why young people perhaps do not succeed in terms of qualifications at school. But one I would also argue that actually for some individuals, qualifications are not the be-all and end-all. And I can say that being a former director of a large education provider in the region. Actually, it's sometimes about people's ability to be able to develop their skills and demonstrate them differently. So whilst qualifications are a factor, particularly for employers when they're looking to recruit individuals and they're trying to look for a level playing field, actually we mustn't lose sight of the fact that we have so many micro businesses and SMEs in the Humber. And actually we're relying on those young people to come up with those fabulous ideas and be supported in terms of developing their own employment perspectives.
Do you think schools are focused enough on employment and particularly on self-employment? It seems to me that schools are aiming at sending their students ideally on to further and higher education and then thus on to yet another level of education and ultimately into a job.
Sure.
But they're not really focused on self-employment and creating jobs.
I think that's an interesting comment. I would argue that actually it depends on what schools are judged on. So actually, because the measures in which success is judged from a school perspective, it is just purely on those qualifications and on those league tables, which some people love and hate. Actually, if there were other outputs and outcomes that schools were responsible for, I think we would see a difference in focus. We've developed the Humber Employability Passport Framework, which basically recognises those Rotherham Ready 13 skills, of the 9 employability skills that are supported by the CBI, that actually recognise those broader skills that young people have got, and adults actually. And we're looking at a Humber Kite Mark for those and working with employers so that any individual that's got that Humber Kite Mark, actually employers recognise that as well as the qualifications, those young people are bringing something very different, a much broader set of skills.
One of those 13 skills is teamwork. Indeed. And that sounds rather odd when you're talking about running your own business. So remembering actually you do need to be part of a team, whether it's working with us, with you, and with the wider business community, as well as your potential customers.
Yeah, absolutely vital teamwork because, no man's an island, no woman either. Teamwork actually, really we're looking at those people skills as well as that. We're looking at leadership, which is absolutely vital if you're running your own business. You've got to create and sustain successful relationships with a whole array of people, including potentially your supply chain. So I think of team as a much wider issue. For us in the Humber LEP, we're delighted that actually our team consists of over 1,000 different organisations that are working to develop the skills and employment skills provision in our region. So actually the LEP is a very small part of a much bigger team.
How hopeful are you for the future?
On a local and regional basis, I'm entirely hopeful. We're seeing an unprecedented amount of inquiries in terms of inward investment. We've got some of that which is obviously available now with the renewables, but also in terms of the wider energy opportunities for our region. Government really recognise and enjoy the energy estuary aspect of what we're doing. We've got to make sure that we continue to develop those conversations and maximise our asset. Now, for our young people, it's actually explaining that in terms that are relevant to them, because it's no point just talking about Jam Tomorrow, it's actually explaining what those opportunities are, and be it for their own small business to contribute to that, and to encourage those young people at the moment that perhaps haven't started their young business, but to be able to demonstrate how their business can actually, their future business, can actually enjoy some of those benefits. I think what the City of Culture has done is bring a sense of confidence to the region. I think that generally, us Hull folk, and I can say that because I am a Hull girl, sometimes are reticent to talk about the benefits, particularly of the city and of its wider region. And it's been able to explain what is unique about our area. And I'm delighted to see, the wider national impacts of the City of Culture. But for me, particularly for our younger people, creating a legacy so that they can hold their head up and say, actually, it started right here, and my future business is contributing to that.